Most people believe their lower back is tight because they need to stretch it. They stretch it, foam roll it, or get it massaged, and the tightness comes right back. This happens because the lower back is rarely the source of the problem. Your lower back feels tight because it is doing the work your hips and core are supposed to do. Today, I'm breaking down the real reason your lower back always feels tight and the corrective path that actually fixes it. Across my career working with professional athletes, general population clients, and individuals dealing with chronic tightness or discomfort, I have seen the same pattern over and over again. People treat the lower back as the issue when it is almost always a compensation. I've worked with PGA Tour players who complained of stiffness after every round. I've worked with pitchers who felt constant tension in their lower back during the season. And I've worked with the everyday adult who felt tightness from long hours at a desk. In every situation, the back was not the problems. The hips were stiff, the core was unstable, the pelvis was out of control, the lower back tightened up because it was trying to stabilize and move at the same time. Once we addressed the underlying dysfunctions, the tightness disappeared. The lower back is built for stability. It is not designed for large amounts of rotation. It is not designed for repetitive bending under load. It is designed to support the body and protect the spine. The hips, on the other hand, are designed to rotate. They are made to create and control movement. And the core is designed to stabilize the pelvis and transfer force between the upper and lower body. When the hips are stiff, the body steals rotation from the lower back. When the core is weak, the lower back steps in and tries to stabilize for it. When the pelvis is uncontrolled, the lower back becomes the primary stabilizer during basic movement patterns. This is why the lower back feels tight. It is overworked and trying to protect the body from further stress. The first major limitation is restricted hip mobility. When the hips cannot rotate, the lower back rotates in their place. This irritates the tissues and creates a constant feeling of tightness. The second limitation is poor lumbo-pelvic hip stability. When the core cannot control the pelvis, the lower back has to step in and stabilize. Over time, this creates tension, fatigue, and discomfort. Another limitation is weak glutes and posterior chain musculature. When the glutes cannot produce force or stabilize the pelvis, the lower back picks up the slack. This often shows up during squatting, bending, lifting, or even walking. A fourth limitation is limited thoracic mobility. When the upper spine cannot contribute rotation, the lower back tries to rotate instead. That movement creates tightness and strain. Finally, many adults lack basic movement competency. They hinge through the lower back instead of the hips. They rotate through their lumbar spine instead of the thoracic spine. They brace with their lower back muscles instead of their deep core musculature. Fixing chronic lower back tightness requires improving the hips, improving the core, and retraining the way the body moves. We begin by restoring hip mobility. This includes internal and external rotation drills, 90-90 transitions, and controlled hip rotation patterns. As hip mobility improves, the lower back no longer needs to rotate to compensate. Next, we develop core stability, anti-extension work, anti-rotation exercises, and trunk stiffness training allows the pelvis to stay controlled during movement. This reduces the demand placed on the lower back. From there, we strengthen the glutes and posterior chain. Hinge patterns, hip bridges, split squats, and single leg work give the body the strength it needs to move without relying on the lower back. We also improve thoracic spine mobility to shift rotational demands upward where it belongs. Finally, we retrain fundamental movement patterns. We teach the body how to hinge at the hips, how to rotate through the thoracic spine, and how to stabilize the pelvis during movement. This is the key to long-term improvement. When hip mobility improves and the core stabilizes the pelvis, the lower back is finally able to do its real job. Tension decreases, movement becomes more efficient, daily activities feel safer, strength training becomes safer and more productive, and long-term durability improves. People move better, feel better, and perform better when the lower back is no longer compensating for limited hips or an unstable core. Your lower back feels tight because it is compensating for what the hips and core cannot do. Stretching the back does not fix the problem. Restoring hip mobility, developing trunk stability, strengthening the posterior chain, and retraining fundamental movement patterns does fix the dysfunction, and the tightness will go away.